أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والنجم إذا هوى ما ضل صاحبكم وما غوى وما ينطق عن الهوى إن هو إلا وحي يوحى علمه شديد القوى ذو مرة فاستوى وهو بالأفق الأعلى ثم دنا فتدلى صدق الله العلي العظيم. 10th class, lecture number 16, and yes, I will give you answer which I started in the last lecture, and you are waiting for that answer, that how the sensory neuron, how you will distinguish between the axon and the dendrite of sensory neuron, because it's very easy to distinguish the axon and the dendrites of the motor neuron, because the dendrites fibers are small and the axon fiber is large. How you will distinguish between axon and the dendrite of this neuron? This is the question. Because normally, what is the definition of dendrites? They are the small outgrowth of the cell body. They are the small outgrowth of the cell body. But here, the dendrite, it is not dendrite. Just guess what is that? Just guess what is that? Because dendrites is a plural word. The dendron is the singular. So you will use the dendron word in this case, the dendron. This is the dendron, singular, one dendron. So difference started straight forward. The dendrites are many in motor neuron, and in case of this one, the dendrites, the dendron is one dendron here in this case, being identified by arrow. And one more point, the dendron single in single, and of course the lengthwise, if you will compare with the dendrites of the motor neuron, these are the dendrites of the motor neuron. They are the small in the size, and the dendron is the large in the size in the sensory neuron. No problem is that if this diagram is given to you, and you will be called as how you will distinguish between this fiber, mean dendron and axon. Technically it should be axon. Technically it should be axon. Reason, because it is long, lengthwise it is lengthwise. This is the definition of the axon, because they are lengthwise large. If they are lengthwise or they are large, how you will differentiate between axon and dendron? This is the question which I raised in the last session, and we are just in search of the answer. If this fiber, according to all definition, look like axon, technically it is dendron. Technically it is dendron, because I am telling you this is dendron, you got the idea this is dendron. If I will not tell you, you will say this is axon, because axon is large, dendron is small. So how you will identify where is axon, where is dendron, I will tell you now. I am disclosing the answer, students. Now you are attentive, because you are going to listen. I used one word in the last lecture, myelin sheath. M-Y-E-L-I-N, myelin sheath. That covers, I go to that figure once again, and you will see that myelinated sheath was covering which fiber. Now this was the technique you can use it by yourself as well. I am telling you, but you should use your mind in the science. You can see, did dendrite covered by the myelinated sheath? If you will see that, no, of course no. Your answer was okay. Now go back to this long fiber. Did long fiber was covered by myelinated sheath? Yes, you are right. You are extremely right. The long fiber of the dendrite, mean which is axon, that is covered by myelinated sheath. So it means this is not a question of the short fiber and the long fiber in the sensory neuron. In the motor neuron, no need to confuse, no need to distinguish between axon and the dendron, because that is quite easier. That's quite easier. And you can see the small fibers. If you see the small fibers, these small fibers are called the dendrites. The long fiber is called the axon, and axon is covered by myelinated sheath. Here no issue, because here you will define the dendrites in such a way they are small outgrowths of cell body, and long fiber of the cell body is called the axon. But why I am telling this point? I am telling this point to distinguish between axon and the dendron in the sensory neuron, where the problem exists. Here the long fiber is dendron, Now this was the problem. This was the problem I told. You will distinguish by using the concept of the myelinated sheath. Now my question once again, that which fiber of the neuron was covered by myelinated sheath? Of course the axon. So if axon, this fiber was covered by myelinated sheath, so it is covering that this short fiber is axon. There is no question of short and long in sensory neuron. You just need to identify. When the figure will be given to you, you will see that myelinated sheath will be there. Here the myelinated sheath they did not show in the figure, but when they will give you for identification, they will make the diagram and they will show the myelinated sheath. Myelinated sheath is there, that is axon. So clear, this is dendron. So this is the unique nature of sensory neuron. Sensory neuron is very different from the motor neuron because it is carrying the message from receptor to the CNS. CNS means brain and spinal cord, which is equal to central nervous system. Nervous system divided into two parts. One is the CNS and one is the PNS, the peripheral nervous system. You are asking the neurons which are scattered throughout the body. They are sensory, they are motor, they are just wiring, they are electric wires. They are sending the messages to each organ, to each tissues, to each cell. If they are providing the messages to all cells and organs, just like electrical wiring, electrician did a super wiring here in our body. These are neurons which are scattered throughout the body. They are collectively called as peripheral nervous system. So this sensory neuron is the part of the peripheral nervous system. Of course, this is the part of the peripheral nervous system. And it is conducting the message from receptor to the CNS. Now you knew the direction of the nerve impulse of the sensory neuron. Yes, that is the point. Direction of the nerve impulse will remain the same in both cases. In case of sensory neuron, in case of the motor neuron, the direction of the nerve impulse will be from which? The dendrites. It goes to, these are receptors, from receptor to the dendron, because dendrites are absent in the sensory neuron. And the cell body, this central part of the cell body nucleus is visible, and the cell body is significant part of the cell because it consists of a nucleus. And go back to the next one. I will magnify, I will show you the direction of the nerve impulse. Saltatory nerve impulse, of course, it will be also here. Myelinated sheath will be here. So this is a axon. It will go to the CNS. So sensory neuron conduct the message from the receptor. So you have to understand the way of the nerve impulse. Dendron, cell body, and the axon, and then the target side, and of course the sensory neuron. Now I will tell you the definition of these three neurons which I am discussing again and again. This is the word saltatory nerve impulse. This is a super nerve impulse. Why I am telling the super nerve impulse? In your body, speed of nerve impulse matters. You know, some persons become ill and they are unable to think proper. Even they are not much intelligent. Some are more intelligent, some are extraordinary, and some are unconscious and having some attacks, like unconscious attacks. These are diseases. I am not naming diseases because you are at the junior level, just like Alzheimer diseases and some other, the dopamine neurotransmitter lacks. They are these diseases, the brain diseases, the nervous system diseases, in which person become little unconscious, and a lot of diseases, you know, I am not naming because there are some technical name. One name I have used, Alzheimer disease, in which dementia occur, in which intelligent power is lost. These occur due to lack of nerve impulse or decrease in the speed of the nerve impulse. Now you can understand the importance of saltatory nerve impulse, jumping from the one node of the Ranvier to the next node of the Ranvier. I discussed in the last lecture. So saltatory nerve impulse, you can see the jumping word is written in the textbook as well. Why jumping? This is the question. Because the myelinated sheath is an insulator. Myelinated sheath will not allow the nerve impulse to pass through that. So what is the solution? What is the solution of that? Solution is that nodes of Ranvier in which the myelinated sheath is not present. When myelinated sheath is not present, the nodes of the Ranvier will allow the nerve impulse to jump from one node of Ranvier to the next node of the Ranvier. I am talking about this one. I am talking about this nerve impulse from the one node of the Ranvier to the next nodes of the Ranvier, and this nerve impulse will be very fast in speed, and that speed will be enough to conduct the message from the one part of the body to other part of the body, even in the reflex action in which brain is not involved, and you are touching the finger very quickly. When your finger will touch any pointed object, or you will get any type of injury, and you will lift that finger from that place. Reason is that the message gone to CNS decided, and CNS gave message back by motor neuron, and motor neuron ends at effectors, and effectors are the muscles and glands. So dear students, 3 neurons I am going to define now. I will identify sensory neurons. I am defining again and again so that you just memorize in the blood. My son, sensory neuron is the neuron which conducts a message from the receptors, means skin, to the CNS, central nervous system. Your nervous system divided into 2 types. One is the CNS, central nervous system. Central nervous system consists of 2, one main part, one small part. One is a boss, one is a second boss, one is a primary boss, one is a secondary boss, one is a brain, one is a spinal cord. Spinal cord, you're at the back side of your body, the front side of your body, in which your thoracic cavity, or your front side, the face side. Yeah, I am not, because I am not showing my picture, otherwise I could show my ventral side. That is the ventral side. The back side is called the dorsal side. The back side, central side, vertebral column, backbone. You know the backbone pain of the old people, because you had a lot of experiences living in the old man. You are of course old people are at home, and you are doing good services with the old people in this vacation, because this is a very good act. I hope you are doing that. So what is my point, students? The backbone consists of much sensitive structure. That is the, what is that? Inside the vertebral column, we will say 33 vertebrae. They consist of very significant spinal cord. The spinal cord is the part of CNS. That is my point. So sensory neuron. Now I want verification. You want the verification from the textbook? Okay, I go nerve impulse from the receptor to the CNS, sensory neuron. Okay, we go back to the motor neuron. Motor neuron carry the message from I am talking about this neuron now. Okay ji, motor neuron. I am talking about this neuron, motor neuron, MOTUR, motor neuron. Very important ji. It is conducting the message from the receptor, from the CNS to the effectors. So this is a cycle of conducting of the nerve impulse, the message moving from the receptor to the sensory neuron, from the sensory neuron to the CNS to the motor neuron, and motor neuron to the effectors, and effectors are muscles and glands. Effectors are muscles and glands. So this will be the story overall, that how the messages are being transmitted. I am not discussing this one. You know why I am not discussing this interneuron or associative neuron? Because this is a very also significant neuron present in your body. So the persons which are in the boss office, they are more important. The persons which are present in the boss office, they are more important. Interneuron, it is also called associative neuron. In some books it is also called relay neuron. They are the parts of the brain. They are the parts of the CNS. They are present in the boss office. So if they are present in the boss office, they are so important. You know, neuron is the structural and the functional unit of the nervous system. Mean all body consists of, if the nervous system is present, neurons are present. There is no area of nervous system in which neurons are not present. So CNS, which is the boss, so you will be thinking about the cells which are present in the boss. You know that in the kidneys we were searching the cells which were more important. In the kidneys we were searching those heroes, those were very important. And those heroes, what they were doing? They were extracting the urine from the blood. They were the nephrons. And you will maybe thinking the heroes in the boss, interneuron, heroes, because they are going to decide your fate of everything in your body. That was being decided by the brain, and the brain associative neurons are present. So neurons which are present, so it means now interneuron role is there. Sir, what is the role of interneuron? So how you will adjust in the cycle, sir? You told a cycle of conductance of the nerve impulse. How you will adjust? I can adjust. I make your hair. I tell you. Look here. This is the receptor. The message goes to the brain. And which thing goes towards the brain? Sensory neuron. Okay, clear? Okay, accepted. The brain. Which thing is in the brain? Interneuron. Who decide the message? Interneuron. Who drink cup of tea and give the answer? Interneuron. Associative neuron. Who is the boss? Brain. What are the cells present in the boss? Interneuron. Who decide in the brain? Interneuron. So interneurons are important. They are deciding the message. The word I am using, that word is English word, but normally it is used in the science as well. And here I will use this word, interpretation of the message. Interpretation of the message. Dear students, interpretation of the message means the message was being interpreted or decided by the brain, by associative neuron or the interneurons. So therefore, the brain will give the message to effectors by help of the motor neuron. So whenever I was talking about the brain or the spinal cord, it means I was talking about interneuron. So interneuron came in the cycle. So I entered interneuron in the cycle. It started from the receptor. Receptor go to sensory neuron. Sensory neuron goes to brain. Brain mean interneuron. Yes, of course, you are right now. So we entered. The third one is included. Why I was not naming? Because they are so important neurons. Interpretation of the message was being done by these neurons. So interneurons, they are present in the brain and spinal cord. Why he is using the spinal cord? Because I was talking about the brain. Interneurons must be present in the brain. Why they are present in the spinal cord? I told you there are two bosses in your office. One is this one is this one, and one is this one. This is the number one, this is the number two. I will give you one process in which number one boss will not decide and number two boss will decide. This boss will not decide. Reason is that he is not present in the office and he has gone to any work, and second boss will decide. Or even one boss is present, but second boss think that when I will go to boss number one, it will be quite late. So that's I will decide, and then later on I will go to boss number one. I will request that I decided, and he has a little trust of the boss number one, and he will agree that boss number one will not say him, because that is the matter of the trust between the boss one and boss two. There is a significant process in your body. Boss two will decide a function. Yes, that is the name of the process which I am disclosing very soon. And I am once again telling you three nerves, students. The sensory neuron. What are the nerves? Once again, the nerves, because I was using the word neuron. This word is nerves. What is that? I was talking about synapse. Did you remember the word synapse I told you in the last lectures? What was the synapse? Synapse means that is the gap between the two neurons. This means that if you are going to conduct a message from top of your body to the bottom of your body, one neuron may not be able to conduct the message. You need another neuron. So synapse, the gap will be there. The next neuron will start, and the impulse will be shifted from the one neuron to the another neuron. So how you will manage this one? Sorry. Sorry. Now I will be able to speak. Okay, ji. So what I was talking about, the dear students, listen carefully. The point I just want to say. When many neurons gather, it means that one neuron may not be able to reach the target. So what is the solution? Neurons gather. But if you are unable to handle one problem, what you will do? If you are unable to push a car which is out of order and you want little pushing and you want to start the engine, you will call your friend. You will say come, and your friends will come. So that will be the matter. Your friends will come, your friends will help you. Similarly, many neurons will gather. Look here, the several axons will together, several dendrites will gather, and when they will gather, that is called ganglia. Ganglia word I should not use here. Forget ganglia, yaar. Many neurons gather to form the nerve. Simple. I will say you at your level. So many neurons gather. One neuron is not enough to carry the message. There are many neurons who will gather the message. And here the motor neurons. Once again, it carries nerves. Motor nerves, sensory nerves, motor nerves, mixed nerves. Don't confuse between neuron and the nerves. Just many axons gather, many dendrites gather, mean many neurons gather. This is easiest definition. Many neurons gather. If the sensory neurons are many in numbers, they are sensory nerves. If motor neurons are many in numbers, they are the motor nerves. Mixed nerves are new word? Yes, of course. Yes, new word, mixed nerves. Don't worry, because that is the same word I was using, associative neurons. Associative neuron, the relay neuron. So these neurons will gather, that is called as a mixed nerves, and mixed nerves also contain many neurons. So it means that if you are going to understand mixed nerves, sometimes it is also called when sensory neuron, motor neurons both are mixed, that is mixed in reflex action. I will show you in diagram. But one thing you must remember, that many neurons gather, and if you are confused about this definition that several axons, so several axons mean, just tell me, you let me tell, I will verify you. Several axons mean that axon of the one neuron, axon of another neuron, axon of the third neuron, mean axon of one sensory neuron, axon of second sensory neuron, axon of the third sensory neuron. It means many axons of the sensory neuron are gathering to form sensory nerves. It means that many sensory neurons gather to form the sensory nerves. The meaning is same. So motor nerves, the mixed nerves. So students, now I am switching in the next lecture towards the brain, which is very integral part of the body, substantial structure. If you are sensible, if you are studying in 10th class, if you are passing your 9th class examination with good marks, if you are thinking, if you are even you are not passing by good marks, but your thinking level is at top, you are a good thinker, you are a human being, that is exact definition. You have a very large brain. That organ made you superficial human being. All thinking depending upon this organ. And when brain is out of order, ill-brained man, even you are healthy, organs are good, lungs are good, heart is good, kidneys are good, body is good, you are very smart, your brain is not working. Did you note one Indian actor did suicide? Yes, currently you will know the name, I know. He made suicide just because of mental illness. Look at the smartness of that young boy. You can understand what important the brain is. So now this is interesting situation in the next session. I hope you will wait for the next session, because brain you are going to study in the next session. Allah Hafiz.